What's up? Welcome back. So the G officially runs. It is back on the road, and I put the VQ35hr back to use. This motor was originally supposed to go in my 280Z, however that project didn't quite pan out. And if you are familiar with G's, this of course originally had a DE motor, so it would have had the single intake along the driver's side here. So there's a little bit of custom part making, figuring out to kind of get things sorted and fitting correctly. So this is a set of custom 3D printed intakes I made using the Apex Ink style air filter, custom coolant reservoir mount catch can. It's cheap, temporary, but it does the job for the time being. Some custom bracketing to kind of hold up the power steering reservoir, which would have normally been kind of right in the way of the intake. And I really wanted to get the intakes as symmetrical as possible. A bunch of maintenance and just general, refurbishing on the motor itself. New Mishimoto radiator, Z1 sway bars. I replaced pretty much every bushing and ball joint on the front end, as well as those KW V3 coilovers. And then the brakes still need to be sorted. Wheels and tires are okay. Maybe some spacers are needed. I've gone through the entire interior, steam cleaned, pressure washed, scrubbed every inch of this car, and I have to say it looks about 1,000 times better than it did originally when I got it. This thing was just caked in dust and dirt. This thing didn't run for like 7, maybe even 8 years. It sat in a dirt lot with the windows cracked, no power to the entire car. So it accumulated a bunch of dust, and once it periodically rained, it was in SoCal, a little bit of water would seep in, and the whole thing was kind of like almost muddy, caked with dust. It was disgusting. So I cleaned it all up. It looks pretty good. The seats were cracked, so I actually had to source a new set of seats, and I found a uncracked set here in town. They're in pretty good condition for how old they are. But that brings us to the paint. The paint is pretty tired out here. It's very matted, dull. I think it was a single stage paint job to begin with. It desperately needs help. So I think that's going to be the next on the agenda to kind of sort out. There's lots of odds and ends that are not very pretty, like this top trim rain gutter guard stuff here is really cracked. I think it was originally like a rubber coating, but it cracks and peels off real easy. So I started working on a custom solution just to kind of cover that up, make it look better. And this is a 3D printed cap that eventually will get sanded, smooth, and painted. That will get bonded down to the factory steel one here. And it's got a little accent, kind of like a little vortex generator. You can see the other side as well. I just have the rear piece on that one, but I think it looks cool. It's just a touch that I haven't seen on a lot of other cars, or maybe at all. And then I added a factory spoiler, came with the radiator, so it is a pretty good deal. And then the biggest regret on this car is actually this cheap knockoff exhaust. It sounds awful. Don't do it. Spend the money, buy a decent exhaust, because I think it's like an ARC, maybe HKS style. They look very similar. This is the exhaust that gives VQ35Z G35 owners a bad rap. It sounds like a trumpet. You have about a 500 RPM band where it sounds decent, but outside that, I would not recommend it. The fitment's not good. So spend the money, do it right, do it once, get a good exhaust. I have been throwing around the idea of actually making a wide body kit for this. It's not something I'd like to produce necessarily, but it is something I would like to do on my own personal car. So I'll throw up a couple renderings of what I'm kind of working with. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And yeah, should I go that route? Should I bother with the wide body, or should I just get this painted, make it nice, one solid color that matches and isn't so oxidized? But it's kind of where we're at. Anyways, I think that is going to wrap it up for today. So make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.